right, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Jermaine, host of More Than Masters podcast. Today I'll be partnering with Project Impact. This is the second day in the event Rule Journey to Change, and with National World AIDS Day being December 1st around the corner, we're going to have a barbershop talk with some of the fellas, and we're going to talk about healthcare amongst men. All right, discussion topic is going to be called The Barriers of Navigating Healthcare from Different Male Perspectives. So let's get into it. All right, so how we gonna start this off? We're gonna let the panel introduce themselves, so y'all can go in order, however y'all wanna do it. We start with you, orange sweater.
All right.
Your name and how you identify.
I'm Curtis Pratt, identify straight, or as they would say, heterosexual.
Okay.
I'm Don, identify as gay.
Gotcha.
I'm Daquan, I identify as gay.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Levon, identify as heterosexual, straight.
All right, okay. Didn't actually say here what's going on, but it's okay. All right, gotta be extra. That's all good. All right, I'm gonna get right into it though. The first question we're gonna ask is, why are men less likely to go to the doctor?
Gotcha.
That's the question. So we gonna start with Dawn, I guess.
Oh, okay. I think a lot of times it's probably a little macho thing, really. We don't want to think that we're sick or we don't want help, and there's all that kind of thing going on where a man is concerned. And I think that's irrelevant to gay or straight in many ways. It's just the way we're programmed. And so I don't think that we want to go to the doctor, in that regard. And it's hard, and also we don't want to share with the doctor any problems that we might have, especially on a sexual side. So I think that's part of the reason it's hard. We don't want to go to the doctor. And then, of course, if it's a problem, then you have to share it with family, and maybe you don't want to do that, because it comes that added responsibility that you really don't want to have.
That makes sense. What about you?
I actually agree with the macho factor. A lot of times, we kind of tend to, address situations as I got it when it comes to being a man, even when you're not feeling well. It's like, for me, I use a personal experience. It's like I wasn't feeling well a couple weeks ago, and my mom's like, all worried, check your blood pressure. I'm like, good, I'm just gonna take a shower and relax,
So wash it off.
I mean, right, but that's how we look at it. You fall, you wash it off, you toughen up. So I think that has a lot to do with the mindset of why we don't go as much as we need to.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same, Then also, I think it could be like financial issues, health care, money, those type of things that are barrier for men to not want to go to the emergency room or to go get help.
That makes sense.
All right. I would say it's a great question. I'm gonna start by saying.
I appreciate that.
I would say the question don't really pertain to me, because I actually go to the doctor like twice a year. I go every 6 months. I go every 6 months.
Same.
And however, I will say in most cases I would relate it to just friends and family. I think we're speaking as men, or I would say some of my straight male friends, they've always just like, well, hey, my girl got her annual, she's straight, so I'm straight, like she good, so I know I'm good, so it's kind of like, and vice versa. If something come back weird, the conversation is different. Like, okay, well, something up,
Right.
whatever. So of course that goes somewhere else, but at the same token, it's like, okay, I might need to go get myself checked out. But again, great question. But I go like towards the end.
All right. Well, it's recommended that you go to the doctor once a year. So by show of hands, who's been?
I went once this year.
No COVID though. Like, not COVID. It's a weird year. I got me on that one.
I had my physical last month. So
who went? Not dealing with COVID though.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I feel
You took a shower though, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely did that.
That's real.
For those of y'all that went, were any of y'all offered HIV tests?
Yeah.
No.
You didn't go? Or you did go?
Well, I went once.
Did COVID test?
For COVID.
Gotcha. So no.
Right, I had one.
They offered it to you?
They offered it. They
Okay.
always offer it. And if they don't, always ask, to do like blood work, test before,
What you laughing for?
Stuff get crazy.
You capping?
Stuff get crazy within 6 months. I'm like, hey, test me for everything. Screen me for everything.
But you mentioned something about the girlfriend thing. So like, what do y'all think of that logic though? Like, if my girl's straight, I should be straight.
I think if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I think it's accurate. I think it works. Now if you're doing something on the side, then you should go get checked out, I would say.
And I agree with Curtis on
Yeah.
that one too. I really do. And I am tested for other STDs and stuff when I go also.
Right. Now that's pertaining to STDs. Now as far as like health, because you maybe had cholesterol or some other stuff going on.
That's
So,
what I-
that's
so
what I
you
was
should
trying to-
definitely be going to the doctor if you're not. But as far as STDs go, I think it runs pretty
Sexual,
solid.
yeah.
Right. Anything in the sexual, I think it runs pretty solid with your partner being straight. You straight. Again, unless you're doing something
Right. Correct.
outside of that. So, yeah.
Has anybody in here heard of PrEP?
I have.
I have.
You have?
I have.
So what did you hear about it?
It was just like little knowledge. As a matter of fact, when they just asked me last month, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but they test me for it. Cool. So
But
Is it basically like dealing with like preventative measures when you're dealing with someone who's maybe HIV or AIDS infected?
I think
or is it like
it's somewhere in
trying
that
to be proactive or
ballpark.
something
Somewhere in
like
that ballpark.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm thinking about something else now. Wait a minute. What PrEP is?
Yeah, because you said they tested you for it.
Yeah.
They'll test you for
They
PrEP.
just tell me for something. PRP something.
See, I don't know. Curtis trying to be a cool guy over here. I don't know.
Wait a minute. What? I'm thinking about something else then.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Because if something just hit me with, I'm like, I don't even know what this
Yeah.
is. Like, this some new stuff.
Well, I mean, I've seen the TV commercials for the Gilead makes Descovy and Truvada, and you see those PrEP commercials with
Right.
the different
Right,
people. And,
okay.
you know, it's a very upbeat music that comes on there, so that kind of gives you a little educational on that.
I have seen those commercials.
I'm gonna need y'all to educate me real fast if y'all don't mind.
So,
PrEP
PrEP
is basically
is
something
a
you take
pill.
to keep you from getting sick from somebody.
Yeah, it's a pill that you take every day to prevent you from catching HIV.
Mm.
But you don't have to be with the person. You just taking it.
Yeah.
Correct.
And also, if your partner is HIV positive, I mean, you kind of want to get on that to prevent the spread of it.
But it's not a straight gay thing.
No,
If
it's
you
not.
Take it.
So men,
Oh.
people tend to think that only gay men should take it, but any man, heterosexual or gay, can take it.
Gotcha.
Right.
and it just prevents you from possibly.
And it doesn't prevent you from other STIs. So it's just HIV.
Mm. Is it supposed to be accurate? Like
Yes.
Oh,
It is.
I don't know if I take that chance. I'm gonna say
So what about NPEP?
I think this is what I was thinking.
That's post, right? Like that's after.
Yes.
When you
If you-
kind of encountered someone
Yeah.
who is infected or something like that, so it's like I've heard of it, but I'm
So
not-
it's the pill that you take, like if you've been exposed, you have 72 hours, kind of like a plan B. So you have 72 hours to take it, to get it in your system.
Good.
Well, once you go to the doctor, they'll prescribe you that combination of pills for 30 days. that
And
you
that's
take.
if you done came in contact with somebody.
someone, yeah.
Okay.
Right, and I had a friend that had that situation, and they called me and said, "What do I do? What do I do?" I, went to bed with this guy, and then after we're all through, he starts crying and then telling me, "Oh, he's sorry he didn't tell me, but he's HIV positive." And the guy was just devastated. And I said, "Wait, you can go and you can get what's called PEP. It's a pill, and you can take, but you need to go right now. You need to go like in the morning, right now, so they can get you started on it.
Yeah.
Because I think it is
72 hours.
72 hours. It's got a couple days maybe, but you need to get started. And I do think it's a regime of maybe 30 days or something like that. that you
The
go
doctor
on
will
it.
prescribe you
But it
with
will.
the pill for 30
It's been
days.
very effective in that
Okay.
regard.
Well,
Nothing's perfect, I don't think, but it's very.
How do you access that? Like, do you need insurance? Like can you go to the doctor if you don't have insurance and get that? Like, how does that work?
Well, I think he went into the ER.
Yeah, you go,
And
I know if you go to the emergency room, they will give it
emergency
to you.
room and explain it, they can provide it. It's not difficult to get it in that regard. It's not really.
And what about I know you say you had a friend in that situation. How often do people encounter those situations where they do sleep with somebody and right afterwards they tell them, "Oh, I forgot to tell you," but
Well, in the homosexual gay world, pretty often actually.
Dang.
They usually don't tell you. Is the
Yeah.
problem.
It is very
And then you're
often.
going and saying, "Oh, I had a date with so and so," and then they say, "Oh, wow, did you know that guy's HIV positive?" No, he didn't tell me, and that does happen frequently. So
and I'm sure it happens just in general.
in
but
general, with any exactly
like knowing
gay or
that,
straight,
do you think
exactly.
that's probably why people think that the pill is strictly for like gay men?
Maybe. Yes, possibly, but it's not.
It's, I mean, I
Yeah, it's not.
listen to it. It's not like it should be for everybody, but
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
'cause
Yeah, exactly.
everybody has it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They kind of market it that way though in the commercial too.
Well, I'll also
Definitely.
share with
I
you
always
that
say two guys.
Commercial. You would
I
think it's
actually,
for it.
you know, disclosed, of course, to my dentist that then it was a local dentist here, and she was doing a root canal, and actually the needle, the root canal thing went through her. Yeah, there was some blood, and it went through her glove, and so she had talked to the doctor, and you know, she got a test, and she also was on PEP for that, just as a precautionary. So even that is a situation that can happen.
Gotcha.
Needle sticks at hospitals with nurses and all, it can happen like that.
Gotcha.
Doesn't always just have to be strictly a sexual encounter, but that's what it's designed for.
Gotcha.
Is for that.
well, you mentioned, like I said, you mentioned your friends. So I want to ask y'all, like, speaking of relationships, like, who are your health? Like, who do y'all talk about your health?
With me, it's my mother, my grandmother. Like I said, I was talking about my blood pressure. My grandmother, my birthday just passed. She bought me a heart wristlet thing to kind of monitor my blood pressure. So it's that type of it's that type of accountability, you know. So that's like my main circle is as far as that.
Yeah.
It keeps me checking up on myself.
What about you?
Yeah, I talk to my mom.
That's it, just your mom.
Yeah, my mom.
What about you?
Mostly friends, actually. I think we're in the South, and when you grow up and you're in a religious background and you realize you're gay, it's just a lot of stigma going on there. You're just not going to be accepted. And they may know, like in my case, they knew I was gay. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear about anything. They don't want to hear about any kind of health things. They don't want to talk to me about any of that. So it's a situation where you really have to get through that. So usually, in my particular case, I just found that friends, and those are friends, gay or straight, really, that accept me. It's a matter of acceptance, really. They
Right.
accept me for who I am, and they're concerned for my health because they know that, I mean, we are the poster children for HIV in a
Right.
way. We really are. And so that's what they normally think. We're worried about you. The comment I get a lot of times from friends are, we're worried about you. Are you okay? That's code word for, do you have HIV?
Oh,
So
wow.
that's the code word.
Right.
They will say, I know what they're asking. They don't ask it. They won't even say the word. And that's part of the stigma that we live in. It's just, and it's really not having the knowledge surrounding it, really. They just don't have the knowledge. So I rely on friends who are that way, you know, who accept me for who I am, and I can share with them my medical issues.
What about you, Curtis? Who's your support system?
Mom, godmother, grandmothers, homeboys. Just
Everybody, you got it all.
everybody, just whoever I'm on, whoever pick up that call. That's who get it first. For real.
Well, how many of y'all use internet doctors?
Repeat
I've
that
done
question.
Internet doctors, you know, Google.
Every now and then I go to
Yeah,
Google.
I've
I
done
learned
it.
in college not to listen to Google.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They had me thinking I was jammed up one time. I'm like, wait a minute now.
Yeah,
This
that's
can't
true.
be just going down the street.
Yeah, I had a friend in college. He was on Google. He was just being diagnosed with lupus, and a lot of the side effects or symptoms he was having were actually kind of closely related to HIV. So he was losing his mind
Right.
until he got
Yeah.
diagnosed. We didn't know it until he told us. Like, man, I would be in my dorm room going crazy
Right.
until he found out that it was lupus. So that Google and stuff like
Yeah.
that can have you going
Yeah.
crazy. But I'm guilty of it. I've been there before.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah, I think we all have.
I kind of go and just kind of like get an idea, but other than that, it's all right.
Complete
You kinda,
diagnosis.
and then
I know,
you read,
right?
then it kind of go left field, and I just like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get off of here.
I'm with Daquan on that.
Yeah.
I usually just get an idea because it
Of
will
what
scare
it
you.
could
It
be.
will scare you.
Yeah.
Can really scare you.
Because I don't ever get too worried, because I'm like, Google will tell you anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I like leave on. I'm gonna just take a shower. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. I just take a shower.
Yeah, that shower.
No
was a
fear.
reset,
You know,
I'm
different
telling
soap.
you,
Change the
man.
soap up. You good to go.
Your body is
Yeah.
Cold water.
Yeah.
that shower, you
straight.
balance.
My favorite saying is, I'm just fine. Don't ask me, I'm fine. Don't ask me any more questions.
But speaking of friendship, like, what can gay and heterosexual men do to reduce homophobia?
That's a good question too.
So I'll say, because I do have a lot of heterosexual friends, I think it's more being comfortable with yourself,
Right.
and knowing what you are attracted to, and just being accepting that homosexual person. Like, it's not, we're not contagious or anything like that. Just because I'm gay, you're straight, that doesn't mean, okay, well, if I hang with him, I'm going to be gay. Like, it's just being comfortable and knowing who you are, what you like, type of thing. And I mean, not just like worrying what those on the outside may say or think.
I would agree with Dequan. I think that it's a matter of acceptance, and acceptance on both sides of the track. I mean, we have to accept you,
Yeah.
and y'all have to kind of accept us, and it becomes really a friendship. I mean, you begin to realize that we're not that different. You know, we really aren't that different at all. Whereas the surface of the environment we typically live in, with stigma and so forth, you feel like, wow, don't fool with those people,
Right, that's what I
or
was
whatever.
gonna say.
You know, that's
It's a
just
stigma.
it's a stigma thing, and you know, a lot of times we cord ourselves off in little groups, and I see that a lot of times even in our community, in the gay community, we kind of want to huddle together and say, oh gosh, we can't socialize with they're straight people. It's like, why not? I don't get that. They're really good people. There's nothing wrong with that. But that
They're
is
some of your best friends.
they are exactly. They're some of my very,
I
very
have
best
more
friends.
heterosexual friends than I have gay friends.
Right. And so it's a matter of acceptance and understanding. And as that we roll on with that, we learn that we're really all the same.
Right.
That we're all the same. We have the same problems. We have the same problems. You know, you have problems with girlfriends and wives. We have problems with partners and you know, and boyfriends, and it's almost the same
And
problem.
then you still deal with them the same way. So it's like, all right, hey bro, like, give me some of your advice. on how to
Exactly.
deal with this,
It's the
or
same. It's
vice
the
versa,
same.
like,
Same.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
basically, it's like, I guess, educating.
It's an education.
Communication.
It is
It's like there's a
communication.
perception, which is the distance between the two communities.
Right.
Right.
So you know, you got what you grow up understanding, how you were raised, and so you approach, you know, the
Right.
situations that way.
Right.
So I think just educating, self-educating, and then like, you know, just being understanding. At the end of the day, we're all people.
And I want to say from the gay side of this, I think a lot of times, and I think the Quantum hit the nail on the head, we have to be comfortable with who we are and what we are.
Right.
To just be comfortable enough to say, this is who I am, really.
That's real.
I can't really change who I am, and you have to accept that, or we can't be friends, or we can't, you know,
Right.
we can't communicate. And I think it's understanding that, and I do think when you try to not be who you are, you're much more distant, and you can't really become a friend to somebody.
Right.
You just can't.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a burden on you because you're not really being who you are, who you set out to be. If I mean, you know, you're gay, you're gay. Someone will accept you. It may not be that heterosexual person, but you will be accepted, and that's something you have to tell yourself. And I think the thing is, most heterosexual guys think that because you're gay, you're gonna try to hit on you or like
Right.
something like that. And it's not always the
Now
case.
that happens though.
That's deep.
That
It does
does
happen.
happen.
That's not always the case
That-
because you have, like for me, for myself, I actually prefer to hang with the heterosexual guy over a homosexual guy, and it's not all because I like you. I think you're attractive. You may be, but it's not the case. You know, like, it's,
So like you said, I think like you can sense when someone's not being true to themselves.
Right.
So it kind of leaves
Yeah.
a sourness. You know, like if I was around someone who, like I've been in the elevator before with a female friend, right? And a gay guy was in there that she knew, and he was talking to me, but I didn't know he was gay because he changed his entire tone, the way he talked, his delivery, everything was
Totally.
like a straight guy.
Yes.
And so he gets off the elevator, she's like, he's gay as hell. And I'm like, what? I would have never known. And so I think situations like that where straight guys
What
come
you say?
into-
He gets it.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, not to say it
Wrong
that,
Curtis,
not to
man.
say it that way, but when straight guys come into contact with, you know, men who are gay, I think it's just stay true to who you are. Because
Right.
you don't want to feel
and
like,
two, it becomes not being
show me,
accepted.
be real. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense too.
because not all straight guys will accept it. And it's like,
That's real.
and I say some will accept that it's no need to change you because you're really not being who you are. Like,
I do think it's though natural with gay guys to be a little hesitant
Right,
when they're
right.
around straight guys because
I understand that.
they don't really want to come across wrong.
Right.
And it's not that they're attracted to you necessarily. It's just they want to fit in
Right.
in that environment. If I'm going to a meeting or going to a dinner and it's a bunch of guys, you know, and they don't know that I'm gay, I think everyone knows I'm gay when I walk in the room, honestly. But that's the way I feel. But sometimes people don't, which is odd.
No, I didn't know when I shook your hand. I ain't know.
No, okay. Well,
Now when we start getting a little more into the conversation.
you can figure it out. Okay, but I do think that that's part of why sometimes the gay guys from
Kinda
Europe
sideways.
will be a little, and then they'll try to be a little different. They're being something they're not,
Right.
as Daquan said, and it makes it that much harder for y'all to really communicate with us when they do
Right.
that. But it's a norm. It's actually a norm.
But it could
And I
be-
think we also don't want to give the impression that we're trying to hit on you.
Right.
I think that's part of the reason we
Right.
kind of stand back and just be this way. So the communication is you really have to get through that and become friends.
Right.
You just do.
Yeah, get to know someone first.
Yes,
So
exactly.
So I agree with what y'all was saying also as far as, being able to accept who a person is, whether they gay, straight, whatever, I think also I would add to it and say that, not just straight guys, but gay guys as well you got to respect, who that person is. Now, I know in a lot of cases, some people who claim to be straight, not really straight. So they might feel like they being what's the word for influenced or whatever to right. But speaking from personal experience, I can honestly say I still have gay friends. Like I got gay cousins.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
We grew up like it's love. However, I've had a lot of situations like gay dudes I hung out with, or they've been at the house or I've been at their house, or we go to the club together. I had to stop being friends with. Because I noticed little small stuff, like they trying to hit on me or whatever, and not just one person, but 2, 3, 4,
Wow.
5, 6 times. I'm like, whoa. So
Right.
and it does build like a barrier of where it's like, well, dang,
Bad experience.
I can't really be cool with gay dudes because they gonna try,
Yeah.
and then that's not the right way of thinking, and I don't
Right.
think that way. But I would be lying if I say at one point I did.
Right.
That would be natural.
Just off of those experiences. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just have to draw the line. Like, hey, what's up? Boom.
And keep it
Like love. Like,
Did you ever address it? Like, did you?
I did.
I feel like you trying to hit on me.
yeah. Well, not just like I feel like you trying to hit on me, but just like certain things that were said or messages that were sent. I'm like, hey, bro, like you already know, like, and so like, yeah.
Right.
So
No, that's real. That's real.
so
Stay alone.
'Cause I asked one of my friends one time, like we were all kind of trying to figure it out, because we didn't know. And I felt like we were close enough to where I could ask him, but he got offended. He got mad. Yeah, he got real upset.
Are you guys still friends?
Yeah, we still cool. I just kind of want to let him know, bro, you can be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's like that.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm secure enough to say that out loud on
Right.
camera and not question my sexuality or anything
Right.
like that. But it offended him, so I didn't understand. I still don't understand why, but we still cool though.
But going back to something you had mentioned earlier, like, do you think that sometimes, like a gay man, maybe his past experiences with heterosexual men has forces him to act a certain way around them? So like maybe somebody, especially young you in school, people say some wild stuff or
Right,
whatever it may
exactly.
be. One time I was working at a gas station, I seen a guy who I knew he was gay, and he opened the door for somebody. He was leaving out, and the guy wouldn't come in the door. He wouldn't come in there until he left. Like he's like, I'm good. Just because you could tell he was gay, about how he was walking and stuff. And
now when people do stuff like that, I'll just automatically assume they gay.
Yeah,
Right, because it's like, why are you so
or
afraid?
something
Like,
have
what
happened
you
to
afraid
them
of?
to make them that way.
Right,
It
'cause-
don't have to be.
yeah, that fly's wild.
That's a
And
little
then it's
deep.
usually
that's-
people that's
yeah,
both-
Fly, yeah, flies.
And it's
Yeah.
usually
Fly got something to say.
and it's usually
I
those
got a bubble
guys.
butter?
Please.
It's usually- And it's usually those guys that's like super uncomfortable with
yeah,
gay
me too.
men.
I can too.
That
They have
really
issues.
That,
right.
right.
They
They
have
trying to figure out who they are.
Right,
So they're
exactly.
uncomfortable.
They're not comfortable
Right,
with themselves.
right.
Yeah, I found that in my life anyway. They're usually a little hesitant or maybe hostile towards me.
Right.
I would say that most of the time they're just not comfortable with
They ain't
who they
comfortable
are,
with themselves.
with their own sexuality.
And they-
That's part of the problem. Yeah.
Right, so I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna ask a real question. It's not paper like that, right? But like, how y'all feel about if you got you got a gay friend on your social media, right? Do you feel like you like his picture, or you feel like that's crossing the line?
I like that bitch.
so
I like that bitch. I love the Quan pictures all the time.
Hey, see, there you go.
No, that's
all the
real.
time.
No,
I
that's
love
real.
it. Like,
That's
and not only you're not trying to put you on the spot.
You can just like it though.
But I mean, I like the way he dressed.
He's swagged
too.
out. I ain't gonna lie.
He
He's
got
swagged out.
some stuff
you hating if you don't
some stuff he wear like I love.
If you don't like these bitches, you hate
Yeah.
I can't curve. He put that.
I love
that stuff on.
some stuff he put on. I love how he put it together. I'm like, that's fly. That's something I would wear. I'm just
guys.
You know, my man 50 grand, but I'm just gonna like it. I'm telling you right now. I ain't got time.
But see,
I ain't got time.
but see, not only that.
He's a homie though. I need for a long time.
Yeah.
But see, not only that, I'm comfortable with myself, and I'm comfortable with just being able to do that and not even think twice about it or think ill about it. Cause like he know who I am and he know where I stand.
His friends might, people go through lights. That's why I asked that question.
Right.
People go through
That
lights.
might be why
That's a good question because I
That's a
actually
good
wanted the
question.
same thing.
That's
like,
real, yo.
You
That
do.
might be why I be getting these crazy DMs.
That is
You're going too far. You
Lord have
just
mercy.
like it.
that's
that further.
that's wild.
You stepping twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's a good question because I wondered that too. Like I know you do, and me and you cool. I don't ever think anything of it, but I just wondered like sometimes straight guys do go and love a picture. It's like okay, why are you doing it? Like what's the difference between the like and the love?
Yeah, what's the
you can
difference
only
between like and love? Like,
on
what is the difference?
Instagram. It's a heart. It symbolizes love.
Because on Instagram, it's
But
only
it's
a heart.
light. It's only a heart. But on Facebook, you have to intentionally slide over 1, 2, and then I love that. Like
I don't have a Facebook. So
But I don't ever think anything of it like if a guy because like I know you and
It just depends on how much I like the picture. You feel me? Or how much, it just depends on how much I like it. Either I like it or I love it.
That is a thought that crosses my mind.
It's a fact.
Because if I don't like the
because
guy,
we know, but then people on the outside,
Right.
I need
you
our
got
friends gonna be like, and then, let's say you got a nice profile picture, like, oh, he look good. You go add him, he might love my picture now. Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? They got a whole waiting list of people that's your friends that I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
and then it went through some
That
like
way too much.
that's a real
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That happens. That's a real thing.
But see, I personally, and I could be wrong, I just feel like that falls in that homophobia realm. Because it's like you afraid that somebody else may see it and think that you're gay. So I don't wanna love it, but and you might genuinely like when it's a picture you posted recently, I'm like, I love what you got on. So I threw
I like Kurt.
So I threw, I just threw the heart on it.
Yeah.
And somebody asked me, it was like, Kurt, why you ain't just put it? I'm like, what's the difference? But I think that falls
because then in the
realm of
back of your
homophobia.
mind you really love the picture, but you had to like it.
But you
because
had to like it
worried
because
about
you
what
don't
the
want somebody else to
outside
think
thinks.
that.
You really could like what the person have on.
Exactly.
Like it could have
Exactly.
been clothes or shoes or something. You really love that or particular thing.
But see,
But
then I
you
really
so
don't
worried
care
about
what
what
nobody think of me
people think
anyway, so
outside.
it might, it goes somewhere else for me.
Like, when you love it, just put in the comments like, I love the outfit. That's it. Do that, and then.
But see,
That's
now,
too much.
I love
Then-
picture
then
and not
you-
a comment.
Then you're standing
Now
there.
you doing too
looking
much.
like, what you doing? Was that necessary?
As soon as you hearted it, you stepped in that world. You stepped in that world. You
But
gotta
it
just
is
like that movie.
unfortunate that we are often, identified by our associations.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
the story. Just because you begin to hang around with these people, then your other crowd is going to say, "What are you doing with those people? What's going on here?
Right.
What's the real
Right.
story? Nothing's going on. I like them. Well, no. They
That's
don't
not-
believe.
Yeah.
They don't believe that story. Oh, no.
Right.
There's something going on.
Right.
So it is a problem. I mean,
But
it's something to consider, and it causes, as Curtis said, I think, just a heightened homophobia that's not necessary. But it's
And
the
see,
way of
So I
life.
think in that moment, what happens is like you become conscious of the world at that point. The same world that community is conscious
Right.
of. When you want to like a picture or something like that, you become conscious of it. So I think that plays the mental aspect of it is why people may shy away
Right.
from
Absolutely.
liking
Right.
pictures or even commenting or even reposting something that
Yeah.
someone that might be a
Right.
homosexual that they actually may like. So I think that's why. I know for me, at one point, that was definitely something that was affecting
Very
me.
much
Like,
so. Yeah, fly.
I know this dude. I went to school with him. He's a good guy.
And then sometimes people like Jermaine. Jermaine knew me way before,
Right.
of course you knew me way before I was gay. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
That's
how
wild.
do you?
Right.
That is wild.
Right.
Think
That is
about it,
wild.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause you don't know, he's like a little bad kid.
Right. That's
All
right.
right, man.
All right.
He was outside.
But I don't know. I just really, me personally, I use social media for what it is, to be social. Like what you like, don't like what you don't like, share what you want to share. Because even in the professional aspect, I have colleagues, say, Kurt, you shouldn't post that, or Kurt, you should take that. And I'm like, why not? It's social media. That's what it's for.
Right.
And so going back to what the question is, you know, a picture or whatever, you know, it just depends on how much I like it, right? I'm like, oh, I like that, I throw the like. But if I'm like, oh, I really like this, I throw the heart on it.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's a different.
I don't know.
it just depends on how I feel when I
Yeah,
see
that's
it.
true,
You know,
'cause sometimes and it's
how I
not
feel,
on the hate,
like the
that's- I like
feeling.
it.
You know,
I really like it. So
yeah, like I would wear that. Like I would wear that.
Right.
You know, throw the heart on that.
And I would say we will agree that Curtis is the exception to the rule.
Must be.
See, so
We're glad you are. By
but
the
see,
way.
but again, I feel like, you know, when it goes that deep, or when you're consciously thinking, if I heart this, it might give him the wrong message. I think that's where that homophobia kick in.
But-
And I think it's just with today and the way the world works. You know, we're kind of like programmed
Right.
to think that way or to react in that way.
So I say, like, when I mean by that, like, your experiences, right? So it's been times where I might like a picture. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say anybody's name, but you grew up with some people that's like that, right? And I like it. They was respected people.
Right,
They don't play no game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I follow you.
And you know, growing up with them is wild because they some wild guys, right?
Facts.
But a few of them are gay. And I might like the picture one time, right? I remember one time I got like 5, 6, 7 requests from people that I don't know about. I can tell you it's gay. And I just put 2 and 2 together, made 4.
That's where I came from.
And then I done made 4 again. I was like, all right, look. You're a homie, but I ain't gonna do that. I ain't got time for it.
Exactly.
You know? And then it's just about not wanting to put myself in a certain situation. So it's not even like a phobia. It's like one of them things where you ran into something, it's a experience. I didn't know I'm not gonna do that no more.
Right.
Now, when I see him out, I
Now
got him up, we
that
talk.
makes sense. That makes
I have
sense.
time talking to him in public. I'll go flag him down. That's my homie. You know, I go talk to him. But yeah, on social media, we just can't be. We can't.
That's
be
real.
We
Nah,
can't
You
be-
don't want to give that impression,
I feel
or
it.
it could be
100%.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel that. That's dope. And that goes until
See,
where
we need
you
more
just
people
being
like
who
you
you
in the
are.
world.
I be trying. Man.
Somebody
You know
else.
what I'm saying? I gotta keep it real though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's respect.
You and Curtis and you guys, you know.
This is a great conversation to be having, by the way. I like that. This
That's
dope.
what I'm here for.
This dope.
Right.
Ain't that right? That's what I'm here for.
seeing good for real.
Now, and I guess to ask you, like, you know, when you like growing up with somebody, right, living across with somebody that walking away.
Shade.
I see the buck, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause them the homies though.
Right,
But,
yeah, homies for
but those particular people are how I learned how to navigate through that because
Facts, me
I'm
too.
not from here, so up there,
Oh yeah.
you don't hang, you just don't. I don't diss them, but it's like, hey,
Right.
I can't be around you.
Right.
But down here, I had to learn that because I knew him.
Right.
So I'm cool with him. But when you in school, it's like people looking at you a certain kind of way. I'm like,
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know
That's
now.
true.
This is
Right. You know
and I
what?
think one day I messed up. I ain't gonna lie. You know, when you're young, you say stuff.
Right.
And I might have said gay ASS, but you're not thinking. You know, you're not even talking about gay.
Right, you just right.
I don't know. You know?
Right.
And like he had to explain what he really was. I never really thought about what he was. You know, so he was like, well, I'm double. I'm not gay.
Right.
And then I was like, I tried to look over like
Try to
I didn't
read.
hear it. He's like, you heard me? Yeah. Cause I wouldn't go to lunch. I would just stay in that class, and because I knew them. You know
Most
what I'm saying?
definitely. Right.
And he's running women. I ain't gonna lie, he's running women. So I was like, this is a good match. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
y'all need to stop using us for that.
No, it was dope. It
I'm
was
just
lovely time.
I'm just kidding.
But after that day was no more. I went to lunch. I said, now I got my friends. I can't do that.
Hello.
They got the good one. I ain't gonna lie.
That's true.
And you
That's true. That's true.
Yo,
Plug.
best friend.
Plug. Hey, bro. Tell me what's up.
But like, how do you handle that? Like, did that or like,
Nah,
did that help you?
Yeah, it definitely did because they were my first encounter until like people in my family I started, to see that they were, and then they came, to
Right.
troops with everything. But they were my first encounter with learning how to deal with them, and not deal with them, but communicate and not have that phobia and things like that. You do kind of see that, like Don was saying, kind of the same. It's not that much difference except the preference.
And then it also is like where we grew up with them. So
Exactly.
that type of thing. I think it's kind of like a little bit different.
Right, when you grow up with them, you know them and stuff like that. But that's kind of what allows you to have that insight. When it is a stranger, you don't just kind of label them or you don't have a
Right,
phobia
right.
because you experience.
It's some personalization there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Another thing I remember, I mentioned like being yourself and being who you are. One of the people we talking about, he always been himself.
Right, and that's what you can respect.
One time was Trevor out, he started twerking. Right? No lie, he started twerking. But nobody batted an eye or say anything because we know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like people was mad or like that, and he could fight, so you can't get mad.
Exactly.
What you
You
gonna do?
didn't feel no type of betrayal or anything.
Yeah, it's like he being him. So it was
He was
funny.
always him. Exactly.
You know, I remember your brother. I ain't gonna lie, your brother came next day like, you seen Antonio? Like he being funny, but at the time,
Antonio.
it was like that's what he is. But
Right.
because he was comfortable with him being himself, we all already knew how to perceive
How to
him,
embrace it, right?
and we respected him.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like I don't know, like I didn't have that situation where I didn't respect the person that might have been that, you know.
Right.
And so I'm grateful for meeting them when I met them,
Most
because it allowed me to be around certain people like that and not treat them different.
Exactly. That's what it did for me.
And it's different people, you know. You got different people that you're gonna have to treat different. Because people out there, they're not gonna be straight up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They will play games, you know.
Right.
Especially when you're in high school or you're younger.
Right.
Them games is wild,
Right.
you know. And it will force you to have some kind of resentment towards that
Right.
culture.
Right.
Because
Definitely.
you start thinking they all like that, and they all not though.
Right. That's true.
They are all not correct.
But we just don't like the pictures, Kurt. All right.
I'm like, I learned something new today.
I know you probably addressed it, but like, how do y'all feel with as far as being friends with one another? Like, take the going out part out, like just being out. Can you be out and just with you and a gay person? Just
Oh
out?
yeah, oh yeah.
Like
I've done that before. Like one of my frat brothers. I ain't gonna say his name on here, but you know.
You about to? Yeah, you
Yeah, it was about this college first and last name.
But he like full blown. So it's like, you know.
You can't use that word when you're talking.
Use
about
that. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry about that. But he just like what the girl told you in the elevator.
Oh.
He did his head.
Oh, yeah.
But you know.
Trying to get you to say it.
No offense, y'all. I was hoping he was gonna say it, so I ain't have to say it.
Right.
But
You
no,
gotta be on the
but
spot.
like,
Okay.
seriously, it's like we go. It was 11:02 at the time. We go to 11:02. You know, then he a Kappa too, so we be shimmying and everything. So it's, you know, it's love. Like, and you know, I was getting like weird. I would always get weird looks from other people, but you know, it didn't bother me because, like, you know, like he know, like I know, I'm comfortable, you know, with who I am, and so,
Right.
you know, I even had females be like, Kurt, you like, hey man, this my brother. Like, this my brother.
Right,
So,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you had to like say brother a lot of times? Like, no, it's my brother, but not.
No,
like
but
this.
it would be more so on the lines of them, like, you know, like, this my brother. So any beef you got with him, you got with me too.
Gotcha,
Like, this
gotcha,
my
gotcha,
brother.
gotcha.
Like, you know, I'm gonna go there for him. So, yeah.
And what about like as far as family, like them knowing that y'all was gay, right? Like how long? Like when did they find out for you?
For me, I guess they might have suspected. In our world, usually they always say the mother knows anyway before you know. And it's possible.
Is that true?
That is true, I
Oh,
believe.
Well,
know
my
that.
mother was distraught when she found out, so I
Well,
don't know if
she
she
was
really
distraught.
knew.
She might not have known.
I
I
think you
think
was outside, man. Nobody do.
Nobody
saw.
It was ugly.
Nah, you was causing a lot of hell. I don't know.
he was a bad
Bad
kid.
kid.
Oh goodness. Well, I think on my case, my mother never said anything, and she wasn't happy. Let's put it like that. When I finally said, "No, I'm really not like, you know, I can't be this way. You know, I can't be who you want me to be. I just can't be and not be myself." So, we were in a, you know, very religious family and things like that. And I said, "This isn't going to be, you know, it's just not going to work the way you think it's going to work." And she didn't like that at all. So she just said, "Okay, it will never be brought up again. We will never mention this again, ever. Do not don't say gay, don't say homosexual, don't say anything in this household again." And that's the way it was.
Could you bring a partner home or?
In the end, I pushed the envelope a lot because I had met someone from Atlanta, and I was in the coast of South Carolina where I'm from. And I decided that we were going to be together, and I thought, there's no way I'm just going to have to bring him here. And I figured that was going to be out the door. I was going to be thrown back, and I'd be in Atlanta. Nope. They didn't say anything, and they knew I would probably leave, I think. And so my father was very welcoming. My mother wasn't. It was about 2.5 years before she would pass him a bowl of beans at the family dinner. She totally ignored him. He did right there. Totally, absolutely.
Not even there.
Never said his
You didn't
name.
get my beans.
Yeah, he was very patient to put up with that. He really was. But, yeah, he just did not. But it was.
Ian cussed my leg.
To answer
They
your
call it a
question,
smash the beans.
it was difficult actually. So it was, to answer the age period, I was about 21,
Okay.
something like that when I did. And so I think it was a little surprising because I kind of knew from probably 16 or 17. And so I did try to, because of the stigmatism surrounding it, I tried to fit in as much as I could. And I will say, I'll share this because I had a girlfriend, and back then in that particular religion, we paired up and then you just married this person. That's what happened. And so Janice was like, I thought at first, is this the way it's supposed to be? Because I'd get really close to her and I'd start sweating and carry on. I thought, I don't think this is right. And she knew it wasn't
like
right.
this.
She knew it wasn't right.
Your body was
And so
rejecting her.
one night, we've all gone on this double date thing, my brother and his girlfriend and Janice and I. And so we get in our car and, we're sitting there. It's like, I know what's supposed to happen. And she gets a little closer to me. And I'm old, so I can tell you, she looked like Raquel Welch. If you've ever seen a picture of her, you don't even know who Raquel Welch is. Anyway, she's really like the bomb. Okay, she is. And Janice was very, very curvy, very like something. And everyone said, "God, you're the luckiest person ever." That was how did you get her? It's like, how did you get her? Thinking, I don't know, but this is not right. This is not right. This is not right. And so I kept saying, and Janice looked at me that night and she said, I've got to give her credit for this really. She said, I want to say this. I think that I know my path in life. And she said, we're on two different paths. And she said, you need to get comfortable and find your own path. And I looked at her, I said, I think
That's
you're
dope.
I think you're right. And she said, I know I'm right. And she said, you're a wonderful person and you're going to find the right person for you. And she was married 3 weeks later. She was. And of course her mother was so upset because her mother wanted me to marry her. It was
I
funny.
bet the streets were so happy after that conversation. They was like, she free.
Yeah, they
She
did.
up for grabs.
She up for grabs. And they're still married today, so they have a wonderful marriage. And it was just fine.
So they've been happy.
He had been after her the entire time I dated her. For real. And we were at church, and she didn't sit next to me. She was sitting over there. And after the church was over, he came right up to me and he said, "What's going on?" I said, "Not much." He left me. He didn't say one more word.
Right over
Trying to get the scoop.
I gave him the green light.
Arm around. Janice.
I gave him the green light, so that's what happened.
That's dope, though.
So after that, my family kind of knew, okay, this is a problem, and that's when I had the discussion with my mother about it, and so that's how I came out. Actually,
Shout out to Janice. You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
it was Janice. A shout out to Janice. Absolutely,
Shout out to
she
Janice.
made it easy for me. She did.
What about you?
For me, well, it happened when I was my junior year, and I finally made the decision because y'all know I was
In high school?
Yeah, I was dating girls. I was just a little bad boy, blah blah blah. Y'all probably would have never thought, but it was always like a thought because y'all know I was a drum major, so I just used to like to dance. But then it was always, "Oh, you gay, you gay, you gay, you gay." So I'm like, okay, what is gay? Like, y'all calling me this. It wasn't really a thought, and so I've had like little encounters with boys in the neighborhoods, and it was like, okay. So I'm like, I don't know how I'll be accepted by the world. Like, I was always cool and like the public kid or whatever. So in high school, in school, it really didn't bother me like when it was like comments made like about being gay or whatever. So it was always laughed and joked off or whatever. But then, so as I'm going through life and going through school and just growing as a person, I'm dating girls. But then, so it was like my sophomore year, I went from Butler to West Side, and I was dating girls, got there, the girls was like, "Oh, cute, blah, blah, blah." So I finally got my girlfriend there. So as we're dating, and I'm like, nah, this ain't right, because in the back of my mind, I had like this. From my encounters, I knew I kind of had like an interest in guys. So I'm like, okay, this isn't right. So then I set in my mind like the kind of guy I wanted to date or whatever. And he came around my junior year, and we dated or whatever, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is finally it. Like, I'm done with girls, respectfully, like. And I told the girl or whatever, and she was like, okay, cool, understand. She was hurt or whatever, like, but I was happy and in love with the guy, so it just went on. And so my family didn't know until like my senior year. It was actually spring break of my senior year. And I made a post on social media, and I posted me in the boys' shoes, and My brother called. My sister
I bet he did.
My brother called. My sister called. And then my mother called with the dramatic crying and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was like 18 when I made that decision. Yeah.
But so, but like throughout middle school, and they never had no suspicions and like that.
No, it was just I was always called gay because I was a drum major. So
That's probably why people thought I was gay, because I was okay.
It's stereotype though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like they say if you're a drum major, you're gay.
Well, it might be how you dress.
Probably been how I dress too. Yeah.
You look you got a good dress too.
Right.
Yeah, I think it comes with that too, but I think just because what you do, I mean, you out there on the 50-yard line, you dancing and carrying on. So
Why do y'all like that?
I'm just saying
He just made that sound so bad. I'm like, wait a minute now. What's happening on the 50-yard line that I ain't know about?
because that's the center field. That's the drum major is the spotlight. So unless it's 3 of y'all or whatever, then it's 1 on the 50 and. So yeah, the 50-yard line or whatever, and you just in the stands, whatever. It's made out to be that way, or it's put out by. It's a stigma behind it. So,
well, I can be honest, like I knew you for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And my brother played ball. He played
all the
basketball.
time.
And I one time I seen you, I said, "Whoa, that's not the same person," because I'm just how you was moving. I was like, I'm trying to watch the game, and I'm like, man, hold on.
This is when your head moves. You say, whoa, wait a minute, now this is the same person.
I was like, that's how you do. But then, like, I didn't think twice about it. You know what I'm saying? You grew up, and
That's how I was too. I went off to school and came back and
you came back to a different.
and I was like, oh snap!
but
But it was it was Daquan, so I didn't.
It was
I still saw him. Yeah, I still seen him. So it was all good.
But yeah, I think that the drum major thing, it was like the deal. And just people, like I said, they always wanted to, oh, you're gay because of this, that. And I'm like, okay, well, And that's why I don't like to tell kids, like, if they're doing something that's not for, like, a boy to do. Like, for instance, like playing with baby dolls. You don't want to call them gay because they're playing with a baby doll, because that opened them up to gay. Like, let them get out in the world and see gay and experience those type of things. Like, just teach them right from guys don't play with dolls. Guys play with action figures type thing. Because that's what it was for me. It opened me up to, like,
dolls too, action figures.
well, they are, but
They
don't
are, but
pick
it's
up
a
no
boy.
brat's
It's a
doll.
boy doll.
Don't pick up no brat's doll with long hair, heels, and nails and makeup.
Like when Barbie came out with her kid doll, that's a boy doll.
Like, but they came out with G.I. Joe dolls. They were actually
Yeah,
built
they
men
really
dolls.
dolls.
They were dolls, but still an action figure. He's
But see,
dressed as a
where my
firefighter.
mind go with it, them kids, I just let kids, whatever I see them playing with, it's toys.
Right, it's a toy.
I don't even like.
So
I don't
don't
even
go
tell.
and say
Yeah,
you're
like-
gay because you're doing this.
Yeah.
Don't call him a faggot or something,
Yeah.
because it opened him up to what is that, and then he wants to try those type of things. Or what does the faggot do? What does gay do? Like, you don't know those things as a child,
Right,
And it
right.
kind of scarred them, or not. I'm not gonna say scarred them, but I mean, it just really makes them wonder.
See, that's
And
why I
then
tell a lot of
you
people.
said the F word. That's what I called my mistake. F word. It was the
F word.
Yeah, I think that triggered something. Like that's real offensive, right?
Well, some get offended by that.
I didn't mean nothing by it. It just meant. But I guess it's offensive. It's offensive.
Yeah, it could be,
It's
but
offensive.
I'm just like, hey, at the end of the day, it
I don't say
all
no
boils
more.
down to you do one thing. So,
Right.
as long as it's not used in a disrespectful manner, I don't get offended.
Can I say something? I'm gonna
Don't
ask
say that
permission
word.
first.
What?
So I always looked at it like it was two different type of gay dudes,
There's several type of
right? So and this is me speaking. I don't mean this with no disrespect, y'all. So like how y'all dress now, I say, oh, that's a gay dude. That's a gay man. He gay, whatever. But if I see a dude dressed like a female with like the
Then y'all call him
wigs and all
faggot.
that, so he a faggot.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like.
It's still wrong. It's very wrong.
I just put it I like he more gay than he is. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
Like he's more gay than And I could be wrong. That's why I said I want to ask.
But they have
But
a.
that's how
They identify
it's
themselves
stupid.
as something different.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
It's just there are different type of gays in the world, or in this our
There's
community.
not any. Yeah, there is certainly the.
It's just more
the
feminine and more
stereotypical,
masculine.
the stereotypical person that you think of that has a certain movement to his body and the way he throws his arms around
Right.
and stuff like that. I mean, there is that way. However, I know early on, after I had kind of accepted who I was, I decided, gosh, I have to find, somebody like me. So, I went to Savannah. I kind of knew. I think most straight people do know where the gay bar is, kind of. Most of them in town, they do know anyway. So I knew where it was. So I had to park outside and wait, get my nerve up to go in because I was afraid someone was going to see me and all that kind of stuff. Well, I went in, and I see this guy. I'm thinking, well, he doesn't look gay at all. He's this big old bruiser looking guy. I'm thinking, doesn't look gay at all. And he comes over. I said, God, he's going to come over and talk to me. He did. He started and introduced himself and all, and then wham! I get hit on the side of the head by this somewhat effeminate, taller, blonde guy. And he said, "What are you doing talking to my boyfriend?" I said, "Oh, I am so sorry. I need to leave. This is my first experience."
He hit him in the head. He's trying to figure it out.
I need to leave.
He hit him in the
Well,
head.
the guy said, "Oh, stop. He's new. He's just here. Yes, this is my boyfriend, and if you hadn't figured it out, I'm gay." And I go, "Well, I actually was wondering." And so, then Jerry, I learned that Jerry says, the blonde says, "Oh, he's leaving me. He's going to Atlanta." And I said, "He's really going to Athens." And I said, "Oh," he said, We're not. It's just that I teach ball. I'm going to be the new defensive coach lineman for Georgia."
Right now.
Okay, and so that is not a stereotypical gay guy, okay?
Oh my
but he was
God.
as gay
it's
as
just
anybody
more
would be.
feminine, more
In
masculine.
his mind, he was very comfortable with who he was and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And and Jerry was the opposite of that. And that happened to be who he was attracted to. That
Gotcha,
type.
gotcha.
So there is not really, you cannot
You can't be
always
gay
say,
as somebody
you
else.
could be anybody. I mean, you can't
Oh,
always.
you can. So I'm because that was good.
That's what
You
I'm.
worded it very, very wrong, but it was funny. But I know I want to learn it. Like you said, you making the face, so you can't.
Because you said it's more feminine.
There's more feminine guys, and then there's
so feminine is the word, not gayer though. Not like-
Yeah, not fag. He's gay and you're a faggot because it's just some are more masculine and
Than
some are
others.
not.
masculine
Yeah.
and feminine. Those two
Yeah,
words.
those are the types.
Right,
Because then
exactly.
you look, you got some that you can't even tell that are gay. Then you got those out here, long hair, longer than girls, and nails, and other, so it's feminine, masculine, and
Well, there used to be a term, metrosexual, and I think it's still a term, and that's where a lot of straight men had become more manicured, if you will. Their
Right,
clothing,
right,
their,
right.
all of that is happening.
They use
So-
that term a lot in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
In Atlanta, they
Yeah.
do that, and
This is the straight guy like
it
to
doesn't
dress.
mean they're
Yeah.
gay at all.
Right,
It just
right.
means that they're just dressing better, they're slicker, if you will.
Right.
That's all that
Clean.
means. Their language, everything about it, doesn't mean they're gay at all. But that sometimes they can be mistaken for being gay,
Right.
and they're not.
Right.
So it just depends, really.
Right.
depends on
Makes
the
sense.
Yeah.
So the correct word is feminine, not the other word.
Right.
Yeah, not
It's
faggot.
more. Yeah, exactly.
A fight might break out. You say that word.
What? That's why I
it's
asked the question.
That's why but I think that's real.
And then I think they come with it offends some, but you have to. For me, my mental state of like deciding to come out, you have to know that there's gonna come all types of things in the world. Like people, like you said, you were somewhere and the guy opened the door, the gay guy opened the door, and the guy wouldn't come in. Like all type of stuff is gonna happen in the world. So you just have to prepare yourself mentally to be able to face those type of things. People are gonna call you faggots. People are gonna call you sissies.
Right.
People are not gonna want to walk through a door because it's a gay guy opening the door. I mean, I had an instance like that too. I was working and I had to pick the little boy up, but my jacket said "All Lives Matter" or "My Life Matter" or something, in rainbow colors, and he didn't want me to pick his son up because he asked me what my jacket meant, and I was like, "Well, it's kind of like self-explanatory. But here's a little insight on what it means." And I went to go pick. He's like, "No, don't pick him up." So I was like, "Okay." I stood there. My manager's like, "What are you doing? Come on, do your job." I'm like, "Well, hey, he said he don't want me to pick his child up, so I can't pick him up." It was a little boy too. I'm like, "What am I gonna do? Molest him right here in front of all these cameras?" Like,
But that's
like
given.
it was
Yeah,
ridiculous. So you just have to
Just because
prepare
you gay don't
yourself.
mean you're gonna bless somebody either. That's also.
I will have to say this, actually, and I think I can speak, and you can agree with this probably. A lot of gay men are actually some of the toughest men you'll ever meet.
I
Because
know,
they've had to
for a
go
fact,
through
for a
this
fact.
crap. They really
fact.
have, really. They really are. Yeah, I knew you'd agree.
That's
true.
true.
It is true. It is true. It really is. Yeah.
I can't speak for him. I don't know.
Don't let them persons fool you, because
Yeah.
He was a fighter though.
Right, he was, right? I mean,
Yeah.
listen.
but yeah, I work with a guy that's
That's
gay,
my
and he's
passion.
probably the hardest worker. Like you couldn't tell unless you
Right.
was around him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I guess in closing, I want to ask, like, in the ideal world, if health insurance wasn't a factor and you could choose your own medical provider, what qualities would you look for in a provider?
Let somebody go first.
I guess I'll look at it like you know how like when you're in class or you're in school and you're in one of those classrooms where it's like 100 students almost, or it's a lot of students, so you don't get that that intimate attention from
Right,
your professor or your teacher that you may need. And a lot of times with physicians, they have a lot of patients, and so a lot of times you might not feel as important. So I think for me, just being in dealing with a primary care physician that's very hands-on, not hands-on in in a bad way, but just
Okay.
he doesn't have a lot of patience. He or she doesn't have a lot of patience and things like that, and that's kind of what I would look for, just the intimate.
Feel important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
I
feel
agree with
like my
Levon.
physician isn't just
Like when you come in, they know your
write me
name.
a prescription
And,
and then send
and
me
take
out.
my
on my way,
health
you know what I
serious
mean?
as well. Like if I'm coming to you with concerns, be just as concerned, or make sure not catering to me, but making sure you take care of what it is that I'm looking for, or my
Right.
concerns, and just not doing doing a job that like you say, writing off a prescription, like.
Following protocol, like
Right,
don't just follow
right,
protocol.
Right,
It's already uncomfortable.
That's the
to be-
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I got to come and tell you X, Y, and Z, so I need you to be a little more invested. And
Right.
Yeah, and I agree too. I think that's what most people want in a doctor anyway.
Right.
But I think when you're dealing with maybe sexual things, whether you think you have an STD or maybe you want to get an HIV test or something, and I think that you have to feel comfortable enough with the doctor, and they have to make you feel comfortable that you can really ask them anything,
Right.
and that's, I think, what I look for in a doctor is someone who gets to know me and is interested in knowing me and just doesn't take the vitals and say, you look okay to me, is everything, are you feeling okay?
Right.
And I just say, I'm fine. When I really wanted to ask them about this really big problem I have, and I didn't ask them because, again, you felt like you're just pushed out because they've got other patients. So I think it's important for a caregiver to really give care
Right.
and to be caring for you.
Great
And to
point.
get to know you, they have to get to know you. They have to
Right.
know, maybe your parents, or just know who do you live with, or you live alone, or how's your diet. So it's a whole holistic type of concept that I'm looking for in a doctor.
Right.
Hold it out with you.
I'm still trying to figure it out, but I would just say, as far as with comfortability, I know that kind of comes with time too. But I would say somebody that is concerned, that is asking the right questions, and as you were saying, not just pushing me out the door. Like, okay, you
Right.
feel good, you look good, you need anything,
You good. I ain't seen you on your
right?
own.
Somebody
Yeah,
that's
that's not it.
whether they got 1,000 people after me, they are going to cater to
Right.
me because I'm who they're caring for in that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's it.
All right, well, this was a great conversation. I would say it was very entertaining and
Educational.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all coming out. Once again, I want to give a big shout out to Project Impact for having us on, and hopefully we all learned something from today.
Definitely.
Most definitely.
We have.
Thank you.
Thank
Shout out to
you.
Project
Thank you so
Impact.
much.
So I'm only
Thank
doing
you.
likes, not they corner. So if you see I just put the like over the heart no more. Don't take it personal. You see the love go down. Don't feel